Hello again, it's Andrew from Rehab here with our insight of the week, and I am here to talk about something that's not so fun, and that is falls, particularly falls in older adults, which is a leading cause of mortality here in the United States. In fact, just recently here in Connecticut, we unfortunately had a former U.S. Senator pass away due to complications from a fall, and we hate to hear it because we think of falls as a preventable problem, and that's not something we would like to hear. So let's get into it and some things that we want you to start thinking about. If you feel like you might be at risk for falls, or perhaps a loved one you feel like might be at risk for falls, we'll talk about that. So one of the things that we like to do if somebody we think might be at risk for falls is just see if they can stand on one leg. So I like to put them close to something like a counter or something that they can grab onto, and you want to be safe. So obviously doing this, if you're nervous for yourself or somebody else, you want somebody close by, somebody who's fit and to supervise this activity. What you're going to do is you're going to stand in front, put your hands on your hips, and just stand on one leg. Can you do this with both legs for at least 5 seconds? If you can't, or if somebody you know can't, they may be at risk for falling, and that is something that we definitely want to prevent. In order to even just walk normally, you need to be able to stand on one foot for about 3 seconds. So that's what we want to see. Those are the numbers we like to hit at the very least. That's like minimum numbers. And of course, how do you improve it? Well, practice it. So if you have a problem, or even you're borderline, maybe you can make that 6 second mark, 6 second mark, but not anymore. Well, then one of the things you can do is, of course, practice it. Safety first, always with hands close by, something to grab onto. We don't want you falling while we're trying to prevent your falls. So that's number one. Another one, there is a major strength component to any kind of balance issue. So one of my favorites is the sit to stand. So very simple, sitting down and standing up, being able to do so without using your hands. When we test it, we like to test people in whether they can do it 5 times in a row in a relatively short period of time, around 10 to 12 seconds. That's a pretty good indicator. There's age-related norms to that, but generally speaking, 10 to 12 seconds is where we want it. If you have a problem with this, or you're doing it at 14 seconds, then what do? Practice it. Really simple. Stand up, sit down. The test is performed from sitting. You start sitting. You do it 5 times. When your butt hits the chair for the 5th time, that's the end of the test. So if you are slow on that, or you have a hard time doing that 5 times, the chair should be a standard chair. No rolling chairs. Be safe, of course. But if you can do that relatively quickly in about 10 seconds, then you're probably doing okay on that portion of things. But if you're having trouble, this is a good way of building up strength as well for good balance. That's our insight. Now, if you feel like you have a loved one or you yourself are at risk for falls, please call us up. We'd love to help you get safer, get better, and be healthier. So that's our insight of the week. See you next week.